Hey, we are live here, Greg.
All right, wonderful.
How are you?
Doing well.
I think I'm ready for this weather to get warmer.
Well, we had snow where I am.
It's just like this.
It's crazy.
So anyways, Greg, thanks for coming live here today. I know you've been wanting to talk about a few things here. I think we've kind of we've talked a lot about interest rates. We talked a lot about the market, supply, you name it. We've talked about possible recessions. We've talked about all sorts of things here. But one thing, no matter all of that, those are a few things that we can control in this scenario, right? In this real estate business we find ourselves in. The only thing that we can control is what we do with our time, right?
Exactly.
All right. So that's the only thing that we can do to change our trajectory is what we do with today and tomorrow and every moment we have. So I know that you wanted to lead off here.
Yep.
So what do you got for us?
Well, so I've got hypothetical questions and one that which one of the agents today needs more buyers?
Mm-hmm.
I doubt that they need more buyers right now,
Right.
from what I hear.
Right.
And so then, what next? I mean, what's your next thought? When we get off this call today, what can you do to do something that's going to help you get a commission in June, July, or August?
Right.
I mean, it'll be hard to do something today to get paid in May yet because of the timing of almost 30 days on a close. So that's why I'm talking about June, July, and August. But there's things you can do today. And so the bottom line is I can say to everybody, you have to get visible.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to get hit, you sometimes have to play in the street, right? I mean,
right.
That's an old saying that old timers use. But so today it's like, well, you call, reach out, email, personal notes, text, post, drop in, go for a walk,
Right.
hang out at the grocery store and see who you can meet, become a greeter, get visible, go to kids' games, events, set up a spring cookout for people that you know. Hopefully it's going to warm up 60s, 70s this weekend, but you have to get visible.
Right.
And then you have to reach out. I mean, in most cases, for most people, unless you've got a lot of experience and you're just this wonderful person, they're not going to call you first. So, and then I go, well, okay, so then everybody says, well, great, but what are you going to say? And it's like, well, I guess before I'd answer that, I'd say, well, what's your target? Who is going to sell? Who's going to sell their home without any reservations? There's a group of people that are going to sell regardless. There's another group of people that are not going to sell because they don't know where they're going to go. So they are not going to put their home on the market until they know exactly where they're going and they got something else locked down. And not everybody can do that. So you go out and find somebody that says, yeah, I want to sell, but I'm not selling until I find something that I can move to. Well, guess what? You're probably not going to get paid in June, July, or August. You with me?
I'm with you.
All right. So then I think, well, who are the people that you can target to try to find or reach, communicate with? Well, if somebody's going to go into an apartment, they probably can sell today. If somebody's going to retire and go into a retirement type situation or move in with kids or whatever it might be, they can sell today. So you've got moms and dads that they can move in with, friends they can move in with. Are they leaving the state? That's another one. There's divorces where there's going to be somebody's going to be moving. So there's all these scenarios, if you think, and I'm sure there's more, but we have to start thinking about who can move without that old saying that we all hear right now is, yeah, I'd like to sell, but not until I find where I can go.
Right. Yeah.
So, so then the next question becomes, if you can set up the target of who is likely to move and who can move without the old thing that we keep running into there, the brick wall. It's like, well, once you meet one of these people that could potentially be one of these other categories, it's like, what do you say? Well, I think it probably requires a series of questions that we have to be prepared to talk about. How do you open up the conversation to find out if one of these other scenarios are there? And I mean, it could be as simple as you call somebody up when we get off this call and you say, hey, I mean, do you have any parents, grandparents, friends, whatever, that are dealing with any of these situations right now? And they have a home probably to sell, but they don't have to wait until they can find something else to move. So I would be prepared to throw out in some of these little scenarios to trigger thinking that might lead to a conversation that is possible.
You're basically saying, let's think about odds here, right? You're going, all right, what are the best odds? What kind of conversations are going to lead to an actual listing? We know it's tough. I mean, yeah.
So
It's
again,
tough because certain people are going to be more equipped to talk to those types of people, right? Where like, for example, if you know a lot of retirees, if you hang out with retirees, if you're involved in people who are moving into these types of condo situations, right?
right. So again, all I'm doing here right now is trying to spur somebody today to think, stop and think and plan and go, okay, if I want to get paid, how am I most likely to get paid? Is it with a buyer, or is it with, if I can find one of these sellers that doesn't have to get something else immediately, and they're free to sell today and take advantage of this incredibly strong seller's market? So that would be, that's the other. And again, is it going to last? I don't know. I mean, that'd be part of the conversation I'd have with somebody. I just talked with somebody over the weekend that was asking me about selling and should they do it now, or should they remodel right now? Should they fix it up and try to add some things? Well, it's like, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. We don't know if rates are going to go up when the Federal Reserve meets next month. Is it likely? I would say, based on what I've heard, it's probably likely that rates are going to get another bump in May. So what are they going to end up at? Over 6? Well, every time it bumps up, it's going to impact sellers and their prices. So now we know is a great time to sell.
Right.
I heard for the first time today from a 5-star agent that just listed 2 properties. They had written into the listing thing, all offers to be presented on, Monday or whatever. And guess what? They only had 1 offer on one of them and no offers on the other, in the 250 to 275 range. When's the last time you've heard that there wasn't 5, 10, 15, 20 offers on something that was in that price range? And this agent generally is very good at pricing and sells everything pretty quick. So was there a shift just now? Is 5.5 going to slow things down? I don't know. But anyway, I had heard something the other day, and I don't remember where I heard, but I don't want to take credit that I said this, but in this advertisement or wherever I heard it, it said, to be exceptional, it has to be unexpected. So I think a lot of people think they're special, and they did something that would be in the ordinary, normal conduct of your everyday business. Well, guess what? That's not exceptional, is it?
No. If what you're doing is status quo, or what you're doing is expected, then that's not the definition of above and beyond, right? It's not exceptional at all.
Yep. And again, we never know who's going to be on these calls, and it could be very experienced agents, it could be less experienced, it could be new. And so I wanted to hit on a couple other topics here. As a agent, whether you're representing a buyer or a seller, the way I've always functioned is that if my client tells me that they want to get out of a deal or they want to cancel it, I don't threaten them. I don't give them the reasons, that only throw out one side. What I typically would do is I would say, you know what, you're my client. If you want to get out of this, I'm going to do everything I can to help you. I do want you to know, there are potential ramifications. I mean, if somebody gets litigious on the other side, it could be an event. But here's what we can do to try to get you out. I look at the contract. I see if there's anything that's in the contract or whatever, but I'm always going to try to help my client, whether it's a seller or a buyer, even though I know that's going to cost me a commission in the near future. My job is to help my clients, regardless if it's about me getting paid or not. It's always has to be, the focus has to be on them. That was one thing I just want to say to remind everybody, represent your client, do what's in their interest, even when it doesn't feel good and it's going to cause you some financial pain in the short run. If you fight them, if you threaten them, you're going to lose them forever.
Right.
That is not a great plan.
No.
Thing that I want to bring up recently is that one of our agents was working with somebody else, and they said there was an issue. There was some water in a basement, evidence of water. The buyers wanted the seller to do something. So the seller actually did something, but guess what? The buyers never put an addendum together to protect their client, demanding that certain work be done. So the sellers just did something else on their own to help to solve the problem.
Right.
So the buyers move in, they got water. They've gone out, now they got a $5,000 bill.
Okay.
Want the sellers to take care of it. Well, guess what? There was no addendum written by the buyer's agent demanding that as part of this transaction that sellers fix anything. There was just verbal conversations that went on. Nothing was ever reduced to writing. Well, just as a reminder to everybody, real estate is contract law. And if it's not in writing, it doesn't exist. So I called up the other broker yesterday and said, hey, I don't know if you heard from your agent, but I'm just letting you know that I don't believe our seller has to do anything because your agent failed to serve and protect that buyer that they were working for and put it in writing. The other agent made a really amazing statement. They said, well, I guess if we're going to do business like this, I guess I'm going to have to put everything in writing. And we're about busting out laughing, thinking, seriously? Well, you just now figured this out, that you need to reduce everything to writing. Come on, people, everything in writing. Never trust another agent. Never trust the other side. Trust but verify and put it in writing.
Well, hey, man, it's like, if it's not in writing, it doesn't matter, period.
Right. So anyway, we had another one that I heard about where an agent was notified a couple of days before a closing that there was some water in the basement. And the agent was kind of wondering, realizing, I think, that if they brought it up, the buyer might run, which was their buyer. And they didn't know what their obligations were and what they needed to do. Well, for us who's been around, we understand because we've received the lawsuits regarding water in the basement when something is not disclosed. We know that if you become aware of something as a buyer's agent or a seller's agent, it's your obligation to inform your client. That buyer needs to know if you learn something that could be detrimental or harmful or costly or whatever. And so I just want to reiterate that you owe your clients what you know. That's what agency is all about. And so anyways, just a reminder. And then again, I just want to end, Paul, with, for everyone out there, it's like, you're going to have to get really, really good at finding out and seeking people that can sell.
It's an opportunity game, right? We talk about this all the time, but it's opportunities, right? It's like you need to generate chances, generate opportunities. We've talked about simple things like I've given the Steph Curry or a basketball player example, right? You can be a fantastic 3-point shooter. You could be the best 3-point shooter in the world. But if you can't make 3-pointers in the game and you can't get yourself open in a basketball game to be able to receive the ball and then shoot the ball, it doesn't matter how good you are at shooting a ball. It doesn't matter. This is why we see a lot of realtors, and I mean, we see them. We see a lot of realtors with tons of knowledge, right? We've seen realtors that have been builders, that have been inspectors, that have been lenders, that have worked at title companies, that have worked, I mean, all over the place. Tons of real estate knowledge, the most knowledgeable real estate people we've ever met, and they just can't seem to get themselves in a position to win clients over. So they have all this knowledge, but they just can't translate that into getting open and being able to receive the chance to take the shot to get the client. And so
the hard work is getting open or getting visible,
yes,
or providing answers or providing solutions behind the scenes before you ever get the glory of getting a sign in the front yard or writing up to buy sell. So the hard work is really all the behind the scenes stuff.
The day-to-day hard work of building a business is, it's getting open, it's creating opportunities, it's finding a way to have more conversations about real estate, more conversations with people about what they need. It's more interaction.
And once you get in the conversation, you've got to be able to ask the right questions that are going to trigger somebody to say, oh, you know what, I had not considered that, or I did not think about that, and I appreciate you bringing that up. And you know what, that might change my timeline. And maybe I can go ahead and sell right now. So if you can't solve the other side, which is the running around behind the scenes, so to speak, then you'll never get to that opportunity of putting that sign in the yard.
Right.
And you know what? It could be that in the near future, if interest rates impact the market and it changes the inventory conundrum, and all of a sudden we start building inventory, well, then maybe buyers are not going to be such a bad thing to have. So I'm not saying.
I'll tell you what, I mean, back in 2009, I mean, it's normal to carry 15, 20, 30 listings at a time, and you just had them. And I can tell you guys who have been in the business since maybe 2012 and on, when you have that number of clients that are your sellers, that you've been maintaining those relationships for 30 days, 90 days, 6 months, 12 months, your job gets very difficult to manage those seller relationships when the market is not in your favor, right? You can't just list a property, get 75 showings in the first 3 days, look at 12 offers. That's just not the way it went. When Greg, back in 2010, 11, I would sit down with clients and I would say, if we can get one showing a week, we are killing it. Yeah. That's real. It was one showing a week. Yeah. And if we got that thing under contract in a month or 2 months, I mean, I was like, holy cow, I cannot believe I got that sold so fast. Right. And so the market will change. And so I think what I'm segueing to now is be prepared for change. This market will change eventually. It's not going to change tomorrow, maybe next month, but this market will change. This is not going to be where we are in several years. Probably this is going to look a little different. And so, yeah, but I think that the what I would recommend doing, Greg, is, as you said, is learn those skills that will help you in any market. And it's generating opportunities. It's talking to people.
Spend time thinking right now, who are the people that can sell today without needing to buy something else? I mentioned a few. I'm sure there are plenty of other people out there that could move. But that is the target right now. And again, you know what? If you have the other thing, people say they have buyers. Well, if you've got a buyer that has is going to go minimal down, doesn't have any cash in the bank, so they can't do a escalation, or they can't pay for a short on an appraisal, those are hard buyers. So, you know, if you got a buyer that thinks that they can get a deal, well, you're going to be showing that buyer over and over and over. It's like, so we think that we've got a client and we fool ourselves to thinking that we're really working today.
Yeah.
I did not want to lie to myself as an agent and tell myself I was busy when I was working with somebody that probably couldn't buy or sell in the next year. And but we do get caught up with that because they're not going to come out and say, hey, I'm not going to buy anything within 12 months. So I don't know what all this fluff and all this hurry is all about. They don't typically, they sometimes will just go along with you and they'll play it out. And it's because you did not ask the right questions or enough questions to determine their motivation and how quickly they wanted to move on this. So anyway, those are my thoughts in terms of everybody's going to have to find sellers that can sell today.
The name of the game, man.
All righty.
All right. Well, thanks for all those thoughts, Dad. I think that's going to be helpful for all of us here watching. And yeah, turn over stones, find opportunities, think about different things that exist that you may not have thought of already, and go for it. So that's the advice.
All right, guys. See
Okay.
y'all.
We'll see ya. Bye.